as elected persons, we as senators shall not, directly or indirectly, secretly or openly, aid and abet unemployed or semi-employed people and arm them to disrupt election. If we reform our character, this problem is 90% solved. In Edo State, sir, I launched one man, one vote, one woman, one vote. At the end of the day, and as of today, it is now possible to do election without cutting dead bodies. It wasn't so before, because we convinced everybody that there is no merit in taking election or conducting election as if it is a state of war. The beauty of democracy is not the fact that you find yourself occupying an important elective office. It is the feeling in your heart that people actually, in their free will, found you worthy to be their voice and to entrust our collective patrimony in your hands to manage, to deliver the greatest good to the greatest number. That for me is the beauty. If you achieve it by the aim of, by through rigging or other manipulation, deep in your heart, you know that you are not a happy person. After every election, violent crimes increase because the politicians who have procured weapons for children who are hungry and pay them a little fee, once the election is over, they are not able to retrieve the weapons. And the weapons are then deployed by these people for violence. You can see a strong correlation between the level of criminality, robbery, etc., immediately after the election. Because these people have been abandoned since the results have been given.
Coming from Madam Oshomole, it be like say water don't pass Gary o. Because this one where Adams Oshomole they use Edo State as example. Edo State where it be say we all saw the massive rigging that took place in Edo State. And if you look at most of our senators in that house, about 95% of them, they all rigged their way into power. All those people who now they see there, none of them na sent to. They are not sent. So all these statements where Adams Oshomole just they talk, so all these passionate statements and sentiments is only meant to deceive the masses. If they truly have integrity, then let them conduct a free, fair and a credible elections once and for all, so that we will see the outcome. They know that we know that they know what they are doing, but they are doing as if they don't know that we know what they are doing. So Adams Oshomole, I know what you people are trying to do. Una they try gaslight Nigerians because una feel say okay, say Nigerians we get poor memory, say we no go forget some kind things wey don't happen. The Edo State election that took place in 2024, the September Edo State election, it was heavily rigged. Armed thugs were perpetrated at some various polling units. I know Adams Oshomole can win his own constituency without rigging, no. But how about other politicians in that red chamber? Can they win their own constituency without rigging? Nigeria is a strange country indeed. I know that Adams Oshomole, speaking on this issue would somehow convince some Nigerians that these leaders are actually vocal and they are against electoral malpractice. But let me tell you, there are a whole lot of persons in that Senate that have been speaking against electoral malpractice and the rest. We even have a Senator Dickson. Senator Dickson recently made a passionate plea concerning this electoral malpractice of a thing and how we should consider, implementing a free, fair, and credible elections.
Sponsor, who led the lead debate and chairman of the Committee on Electoral Matters, of which I'm a member, for bringing this very important matter for our discussion. And having listened to the lead debate and all the very moving and passionate contributions of all members, with which I totally agree, I just felt I should add a thing or two. There is no doubt, as has been said, that if there is one pressing matter before this 10th Senate, if there is one pressing matter before this 10th Senate, it is the issue of how we sustain and deepen and ring-fence the electoral system. Because if that fails, then we will only be a democracy in name. Will only be a democracy in name. And it's a great shame, it's a shame, that election period after election period, we seem to be regressing. I know that in this country, in 2007, President Yar'Adua, right there on the inaugural podium, restated his determination to review the electoral system that brought him into office. After Yar'Adua, 2015, a sitting president who appeared to be losing without even waiting for the final tally to be called, President Jonathan, and by the way, from the great state of Bayelsa too, made that historic call. And I was there in the room with him. The effort was to deepen and elevate Nigeria's democracy. And thereafter, 2019, we didn't see how that improved our system. So in some way, without casting blame or pointing fingers, we appear not to have built on the momentum that has been established, to the extent that, as I said the other day, and I note Mr. President's very patriotic utterance when he said, well, our country has done it before, and you're right. Now, it's as if, I don't want to say smaller countries, but we are the giant of Africa, and we remain so, by history and by design. It is other countries now that are now taking the shine. And I say so painfully, with reference to the last presidential elections in Ghana, where the candidate of the ruling party, Dr. Bawumia, candidate of NPP, vice president to the sitting president, Akufo-Addo, before even the tally was completed, placed a call to current president John Mahama and considered and stole the show, as it were, from us, Nigeria. So, Mr. President, if there is one major achievement we must make in this 10th Senate under your leadership, we plead that it should be this issue of electoral reform. In India, where you have over 1 billion people voting, diverse nation, which is a continent of its own, they spend 2-3 weeks doing elections because of the size. But you hardly hear people go to court, challenging or killing themselves and so on. And they all have the differences too. Ethnic, tribe, religion, and all of that. So, Mr. President, we have an opportunity. I know that we have moved from card reader to beavers. We should authorize INEC to deploy more technology. And we should support them with funding. Secondly, our political parties are the biggest challenge to our democracy. We have to look for a way by which we can introduce some regulation and control on their behavior or undemocratic behavior. And thirdly, and this is quite serious, I'm sure when we assemble in Lagos, tomorrow, Mr. President, will be meeting, your committee will be meeting in Lagos to again review some of the proposals that we have been tinkering with for almost a year now. The burden of proof in electoral matters, Mr. President, must shift to INEC. That is where it rightly and properly belongs. We should not subject it to the normal evidential rule that says he who alleges must prove. How can you prove something you don't even know? INEC is an electoral body conducting elections. INEC appoints people, a candidate and party has no control over them. INEC does whatever they do, juggle figures and announce, do cancellations, they explain to no candidate, they explain to no party. And yet the law says, if you challenge it, he who alleges must prove. No. In every other matter, that may very well be the case. That's the common law.
With that being said, we should start implementing these strategies. Not be by mouth. It is a great idea. Now let us implement what these lawmakers have been contributing. Their various contributions should be implemented. What we lack in Nigeria is implementation strategy. Everybody get idea for head, but nobody, even the government themselves, they no wan gree implement all those things wey they know say e go better our life. They no wan implement am because they know that it would spoil market for them. They know say the thing go spoil market for them. So Nigeria is an unreal place. When we are serious, when we are ready, then we will implement these things and watch how things will turn around for the better for us in this country. But if they don't implement it, then history will keep on repeating itself over and over again.